Welcome to the Hardcore MBA podcast with your host, Erlend, Bakke.
Hello, and welcome to Hardcore MBA, where we interview experts on various subjects relating to business. Today on the call, we have Jenn Scalia. Did I pronounce your name correctly? Or Scalia?
Okay. Scalia.
Scalia, right,
Yeah.
right. I was way off. Way off. So, can you explain who you are and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you mentioned, I'm Jenn Scalia, and I am a visibility strategist and business coach for female entrepreneurs. I mostly work with females, and I really help them become more visible online, get their marketing stuff in order, and so that they can make a bigger impact, so that they can make more money in their business, so that they can attract clients. And currently, I work with people mainly one-on-one and through my group programs.
Cool. And how did you get into business in the first place?
Good story here. So I was actually laid off from my previous corporate job where I was doing marketing and social media for one of the largest casinos out here in Atlantic City, New Jersey. I don't know if you have ever heard of Atlantic City, but it's a little mini Las Vegas.
Yes.
So it's just a strip that has like tons of casinos. So I was working out there.
So it's like a very small. Is it about this size or?
It's like a little strip, maybe about 2 miles, and there's just casinos all up and down.
Which one did you work for? What chain?
It's called Tropicana.
Ah, I like Tropicana.
Yeah.
I've been to Tropicana in Vegas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's all white inside.
Yeah. It was very nice. I mean, we had like 27 restaurants in there, 15 stores, 4 wings of the hotel. So it was big, and I was doing all of their social media. That's actually what I was doing, and I really enjoyed my job. And I came in one day after New Year's and found out that I was laid off. They actually had laid off about 30 people. Casinos are notorious for doing that.
Okay.
They'll lay off like 30 people, 100 people, and all of a sudden, all these people don't have jobs. So
why is that common in the casino industry?
I think it's because of their profits and what they're bringing in, and when things don't go the way they're planned, they just do these massive layoffs. So.
Okay.
I was a victim of that. And, at that point, it was actually my second layoff in 3 years. And I decided I'm done. I need to be able to make, my own money. I need to know when I'm going to get a paycheck, when I can provide for my family. My son was about 2 at the time. So, I really didn't want to have to depend on someone else to say, hey, Jen, you're going to get a paycheck this week, or, you don't have a job. So it was at that point that I really started to search for different opportunities for myself and what I could do to have my own business.
And I guess you can get fired in business. Like if you have your own business, you can get fired as well. But when you have like 200 clients, it doesn't really matter as much. Yeah. It's more of a. So a lot of people view business as very risky, which it is. But is it more risky than having a job?
In this day and age, I really don't think so. Yeah. I really think that, success in business is not guaranteed, but a job is also not guaranteed after you spend, 4, 6, 8 years in college, and, you can just as easily get laid off or not even be able to get a job in the first place. So right. I think the risk is still there.
Absolutely. So how many, do you know, like percentage wise, how many entrepreneurs became entrepreneurs when they got fired? Because I became an entrepreneur when I was fired.
Oh.
And I've met a lot of other people that are like, oh, I was fired and I started this business. And
yeah.
It'd be interesting to know the percentage.
Yeah, I don't know that percentage. That would be a good one to look up.
Okay. So what are you currently working on that inspires you?
Definitely my membership site right now with my business. So previously I've been working a lot of one-on-one, which takes a toll on you. And, you're only able to work with so many people because there's only so many hours in a day. So back in July, I created a new membership site where I'm able to get tons of people into my membership site. We have about 350 members right now. Okay. My goal is to be at 1,000 by the end of the year. And, I really feel like I'm able to help more people this way, even though, the entry level point is much lower. It's a very low cost to get in monthly, but I'm able to impact more people. So I'm really excited about that.
So what is in terms of, obviously membership websites is something very attractive because you can
Yeah.
have like recurring revenue and you can
Yes.
scale your content and yourself, and what are the tricks, not the tricks, but what are the key strategies that you've used to, because 350 is a lot.
Yeah.
How did you build that up?
Yeah. So, I had a community when I first started. So when I had my first big push and I announced it, I think I had about close to 100 people
Okay.
right off the bat just sign up. And what I've been doing is I actually have basically two strategies right now that I'm using. The first one is I'm running Facebook ads to an opt-in. And once they sign up for my opt-in, they get put into a funnel sequence where they get offered a $7 for the first month trial. So that's worked really well because people are able to get in there, check out the content, see if they like it. And, most of the time people end up staying. Sometimes people leave after the first month, but, they're able to get in at a really low cost. And then it goes back to the regular monthly fee of 47 after the first 30 days. So that works really well. We get anywhere from probably about 5 to 10 people a week through the funnel that are coming in on that. And then about every 4 to 6 weeks, I'll do a big promotion to my list where either I offer a bonus or I offer, a discount of some sort. And I've done that 3 times so far. The first time we got 50 people, and the last 2 times we've had 70 people
Wow.
in like a 4-day period. So that's worked really well.
So what did you do the first 30 days? What was that?
That I just promoted that to my list. So I
Okay, and that
just
was
said, yeah.
free or
No, it was actually the intro price was $25 a month. So I did
okay,
a $5 trial for the
right.
first month. So the trial seems to work really, really well for people.
And the trick there is to like have a like because we only value what we pay for, right?
Yeah,
So if it's free, it's like, ah,
yeah,
whatever, it was free. It's like having a free
exactly.
talk, like 100 people sign up, maybe get 20 people. But if it's paid and you have 100 people that are paid, even if it's like $1, you'll
Right.
probably get like 80%, 70%.
Yeah. And they're able to actually go in there for 30 days and check everything out and see if they like it. And there's just so much content in there that
Mm.
people end up staying, plus the community. So I also have a Facebook group. So everybody that's in the membership site is in Facebook. So they all, encourage each other and support each other. So people are really loving that too. Oh, and one other thing I want to mention that I learned from someone over at Digital Marketer was I actually give a gift to
Okay.
all of my members. So they actually get bracelets from me that say "Think Bigger." So they're all excited, like whenever they're in there and they're all showing off their bracelets and things
Hmm.
like that. So I think it's just like they just feel like very welcome.
And do you have any men in the membership?
We have a couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. It's funny. I was just talking to my online business manager, and I was like, I feel like I want to expand a little bit and not just work with females.
Hmm.
And we do. I think we have about 3 or 4 men in there.
Okay. But your primary marketing and your primary promotion is
Women.
for female entrepreneurs.
Yes.
Is there a lot of growth in female entrepreneurship in the US?
I believe so.
Yeah.
I definitely do. I think that we're just seeing the opportunity, that it was always there. But I think that as women, we probably were just going with the flow, going with the status quo. But I definitely feel a lot. I mean, I'm in parts of multiple groups. I even have a public Facebook group that we have almost 7,000 female entrepreneurs in
Okay.
right now. So,
Cool.
yeah.
My business partner in Mr. Outsource is a female entrepreneur, and she just told me that today she got paid for her first. Well, she's been speaking a lot, but it's the first time today that she got actually
Oh,
paid to do the speaking.
awesome.
So that's always something to check off
Yeah.
on your career. So why do you do what you do?
I really want other people to experience success, other women to experience success. I think that, for a long time, me personally, I was just going with the flow, doing what I was supposed to do, go to school, get married, get a job, and do all that stuff. And, I really didn't find freedom in my life, and not just financially, but just being able to spend time with my son, do whatever I want, go on vacation until I started my own business. And I think that right now is the perfect time for anybody who has this fire inside of them to go out there and make it happen. We have so many amazing resources, and I really want to reach as many people as possible and share that with them.
Absolutely. I mean, the cost of starting a business now with like all the social media and all the marketing
Mhm.
tools, and it's you can start a business with your laptop.
Yep, exactly.
Do a course, invite people for a course or have a seminar. I mean, you need to spend money on marketing,
Yeah.
but which a lot of why do you think most people are not willing to spend money on marketing?
It's really strange to me. And I always like to use like, I call the online world like, our world, and then there's like the real world. But I always say to people, like, if you were going to start a business, a brick and mortar, say you wanted to start a coffee shop or, a clothing boutique or a restaurant or something like that, you would be spending a lot of money, to even just get it started.
Mm.
You'd be spending money on staff. You'd be spending money on equipment. You'd be spending money on advertising, getting your stuff in the yellow pages, maybe a commercial or radio. And it just surprises me that people think that they can start a business online and not have to spend money.
Yeah, and obviously the people that do spend money on advertising, they are the ones that grow. They are the ones that people hear about. Those are the people
Yeah.
that, because a lot of people say, oh, how many copies do you have out there? And I tell them, oh, it's more than 100,000 copies. And they're like, how did you do that?
How?
And I'm like, well, I basically paid people to help me market it, and that's how you do it. It cost me money to get that
Yeah.
out there. But for me, still, it's like I don't like wasting money, and I know that like when I do
Yeah.
marketing, 50% is not going to work, 50% will work. I don't know, so it's for me it's still hard
Yeah. You've got to still be smart about it. Absolutely.
and of course a lot of people will say like I just don't have the money. It's like when
Mhm.
people come to us and say, oh, we really want a VA, and then we say like what the prices are, and they're like, okay, I can't afford it right now. And it's like, well, it'll free up 40 hours of
Yeah.
your week so you could do other things. Imagine if you could spend time getting a better contract because you freed up your time. So it's
Right.
it's always it's always a challenge, the how to invest your money best.
Yes.
Um, so what kind of daily habits do you have, and have you developed since being fired and then sort of building an entrepreneurial career? How have your habits changed?
Yeah, I think I'm still getting used to it. I'm still trying to. I feel like every week it's like something new, but definitely, in the mornings, I have my little mindset practice. I'll get up a little earlier than my son, make sure I kind of, get all my stuff out of the way, and I'm prepared and ready to go by the time I send him off to school. And I'll do a lot of stuff at night too, gratitude wise, mindset wise, where I'm actually reflecting on my day, thinking about what I was able to get done, what I need to get done the next day. Also, gratitude for what I have now, and also gratitude for what I want in the future. So one of my big tricks that I do is I basically I trick myself. And if I want something, like say I want $1 million by the end of the year, I'll write that down as if I already have it. So I
Mm,
speak in the present tense. So I actually have a combination of like my gratitude for the things that I have and the gratitude for the things that I still want and I don't have yet, but I kind
mm,
of mix it all together. And it really just puts me in a high vibe because I start to read things like that and I'm just like, yes, it's happening. I don't even
right.
question it. So, I have my daily mindset stuff. One of the things I used to do was I used to like time block my days, but I find that it didn't really work for me.
Gets quite stressful, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm very creative, but I can only create things like when I get the intuitive to do it. Like I can't just sit here and say, okay, it's time to create. So go ahead and create. I
Mm,
really have to be inspired.
yeah.
So what I've actually been doing is day blocking. So, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays are days where I am with my clients. So I'm in coach mode on those days. And then Mondays and Fridays, I leave open for creating, for marketing, for doing things like that. And that actually works a lot better for me because I'm not switching back and forth from marketing mode to creation mode to coach mode. And I'm just kind of staying in my lane during those days and I get a lot more done.
Um, do you find that you're changing your habits? Maybe you'll like, let's say you used to do like a journal in the evening, and suddenly you're like, oh, I should probably do it in the morning, or like vice versa. Do you are you constantly refining them, like figuring out new stuff and like experimenting a little bit to sort of?
Yeah. Yeah, I think definitely. I think it's ever evolving. Like with my mindset stuff, I used to do it in the morning and I found it difficult because I wasn't able to like really reflect. That's why I changed it to the evening because then I'm able to say, oh, well, here's what I've accomplished today. Here are certain people that I've connected with. This is what I'm grateful for. This is what happened. So it made it easier for me,
Hmm.
to be grateful because I was able to kind of like replay the day in my head
Yeah.
as opposed to waking up in the morning and saying, oh, I'm grateful for my bed. So it was a little bit more difficult. So I like it better this way where I'm doing it at night. It relaxes me before I go to bed. I'm kind of in high vibe before I go to sleep as well. So I feel like I definitely sleep better.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've actually changed it from evening. I used to always journal in the
Uh-huh.
evening, and now for the past like 6 months, I've been doing it in the morning. And the reason for that was because like at the end of the day, I would sit and relax and watch TV just to like become a zombie, so I could sleep good. And I would be thinking about, oh, I've got to do this journal thing, and I don't really want to do it, but I'm gonna do it because I follow through. So I changed it to the morning.
Yeah.
But I guess when you do sort of gratitude and these like positive um, visions for your life, or past visions, you should actually be in a really good state because
Yeah.
that helps make them happen, right? So
Yeah.
uh, yeah. So but I kind of find it fun to like change things around and like go
Yeah.
like,
I think
ooh,
you
I'll try
definitely have
this. And
to.
sorry.
Yeah. I think you definitely have to switch things up. I think sometimes things get routine too. And then it's
Mm,
not as effective because you're just doing it to do it. You're just like, oh, this is just part of the routine or this is the habit. So I have to do it. So
yeah.
it's good to kind of switch it up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So, what do you do when life hits you in the head with a brick?
That happens often.
Yeah, well,
It's funny because I can reflect back to like my previous days before I was an entrepreneur and I was kind of just working my job and I would let it affect me so much before, and now
mm,
I feel like I have the tools and I have the right mindset to be able to look at it differently. And I think that's really the key is to, when something happens or when life throws a brick at you, it's like, okay, what can I learn from this?
mm,
And it's kind of like looking at the silver lining, like what is this trying to tell me? Because I really feel like there is always a lesson whenever something bad happens to you. So, instead of just thinking, oh, woe is me, and now I have to go do this and, feeling sorry for myself, it's like, okay, well, what can I do different next time?
yeah,
What can I learn from this? And how can I just get up and do it again? But definitely that was a muscle that, that I worked.
yeah.
It wasn't always that way.
I think JC says JC did this interview with Oprah Winfrey. I'm probably not saying it correctly, but and he said something that I try to think about a lot, but there's not much to learn from success. So basically, like you learn
Mm.
from your challenges and your failures, and sort of that's when you learn, and so that's what you should be grateful for.
I agree. Yeah,
um, and that's difficult because in
it is.
school we get trained to, like if you do badly, you suck because you're not getting like the grades that other people are. But like in especially like that was so hard for me in entrepreneurship was like the constant failure, and I'm still failing, and I'm still like I'll try stuff and it won't work, and I have to like, okay, I'll try again. And
Yeah,
there's still programming left that I'm sort of trying to exchange. It takes a long time to exchange
yeah,
software in the human brain, but yeah, it's it's definitely like one of those things that I had to change when I got started in business, and I'm still working on it.
yeah, absolutely.
So what is currently happening in your industry? So your industry would be entrepreneurs that help female entrepreneurs
Yeah.
to make more money.
Yeah, I mean, some of the things that I'm seeing a lot of people talk about are funnels.
Hmm.
So people are getting really into funnels and membership sites, which I was just talking about. I feel like it's definitely a hot trend right now. People are really, getting excited about the possibility of having this recurring income with the membership sites, and I feel like the funnel is part of it, right? You have to have something in place in order to continuously get people in there because membership sites actually are notorious for being like the hardest to keep people in. Like the retention is not easy, it's month after month. So having those strategies in place so that
Unless
you're
you're
constantly getting
Netflix.
people in. Well, yeah, right. They're doing a pretty good job. Got to take some tips from them. But yeah, I mean, people will, especially if they're not really going in there, or maybe they, haven't been in the site in a couple months, haven't logged in, then they get the charge and they're like, oh, I'm just going to cancel it, So I think it's about having this this flow, we lose people, on a weekly basis, but we also gain, twice as many people. So it's making up for it. So, you've got to have those funnels and those systems in place to keep putting people in there. You can't just have your members and then stick with that, because inevitably people are going to leave.
Yeah. A good book that I read on membership websites was John Warrillow's Automatic Customer. We had him on the show here. And he talks about, the churn and calculating the churn, and you need more people in than out. And if you figure that out, you can just spend lots of money on marketing, because then they'll.
Yeah.
What kind of software do you use? We use Kajabi for our membership website, which is kind of just a place where I store all the webinars we've done and sell it as a package. But there's not much activity in the membership website.
Yeah.
It's just storage place.
I was actually looking into Kajabi, but I didn't get it when it rolled out, and I was like, oh, I'll just wait until March. But actually, we started with Optimized Press. So we're just using Optimized Press with the back end, but I found that, there's a lot of content in my site. We have at least 100 resources. And then we add new masterclasses every month. So we're actually switching to ClickFunnels. I don't know if they have their own membership portal. So that, we're switching over right now, actually this week. And the look.
Fingers crossed.
The look of it, just how everyone can see the information in one spot. I think it's going to actually help with the members. I think it's going to help with the retention as well.
Yeah.
Because I think people right now, when they're in the back end of the Optimized Press, it looks pretty. It's, it looks great, but I think it's really hard to kind of dig in there and find what they need. Mm-hmm. So I think this is going to be a lot better for us.
Okay, cool. Membership websites, recurring revenue. That's people I've been traveling the world for 4 or 5 years now, and the only reason I can do that is because we have recurring revenue.
Yeah.
We serve the same customers year in, year out, and we add a few every year, and we lose a few. But and if I was to do project-based tasks all the time, it would be very difficult for me to have that kind of lifestyle. So talking about living the freedom lifestyle, how do you are you currently outsourcing, and do you have any sort of outsourcing techniques you wanna share with?
Oh my gosh, I outsource everything.
Okay.
And in the beginning, I didn't. In the beginning, I was like the people you were saying, oh, I can just do it myself, and I know how to do this, and I don't need to hire anybody, or I don't have money, or I'll do it when I'm making more money. And it was probably about 18 months in my business before I hired my first VA.
Okay.
And it was a little tough for me in the beginning, because just letting go of that control and giving the project to someone else and hoping that they, did it properly or did it to my standards.
Mm-hmm.
That was tough. But once she got in the flow, and I was just like, wow, I have so much time, So shortly after that, probably about 4 months after that, I hired an online business manager.
Okay.
To kind of keep all my systems in place. And thank God I have her for my membership site, or else I'd go bonkers.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so she helps with all of my client care, any payment issues, if people need to change their information, they can't log in. She's there to take care of that, and I don't have to worry about it at all. And I outsource everything from copywriting, my Facebook ads, graphic design, anything that doesn't involve me creating content. Mm-hmm. Or working with my clients. Everything else gets outsourced.
So you kind of saying, okay, I'm going to work on this stuff because that's the stuff that fuels me rather than drains me. Everything else is going to be given to somebody else. What countries do you outsource to? What's your best tip?
Everybody's US based. So everybody that I work with, they're people that I know and people that I trust. And one of the things is, I did make a mistake in the beginning of just hiring somebody that I didn't really get a good recommendation for. I talked to them on the phone. They offered their services. I was like, great. And, about 4 months in, I was just like, I kind of feel like I'm still doing a lot of stuff and I'm
Yeah.
paying you a lot of money. And, I just found out that like all of this stuff wasn't being done. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to fire my whole team in December and I hired new people. So, my best tip is definitely get a recommendation from somebody you trust.
Right.
I think people can go out there and say, I'm great, I can do this, I can do that. But, unless you're getting a recommendation from a friend or a peer that you trust that says, I recommend this person, I think that's the best way to go about it.
Yeah. We usually do testing. So we'll give them a test project and we'll say like, you got to do it for free. And if the person's not committed enough to do the test or do it well, then they don't really want it.
Yeah.
So it's something. I mean, the hiring process is so important, but it's just one of many things that an entrepreneur has to think about, right?
Yeah.
So what software do you love? Like if you were to mention one software, what software would that be?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think right now it's going to be Groove. So we use Groove with my team. So it's all my emails go into Groove and we can assign tasks to each other and mark certain emails as open or closed. So that way, like the customer service emails, I don't have to worry about it. I know it's assigned to my online business manager. And then, other requests for interviews and things like that are handled by my VA. So I think that's been really good for us because my inbox is like flooded. So I've actually been able to keep inbox zero pretty much all the time because everything's going through Groove, and then I'm only seeing the stuff that is relevant to me answering.
Mm-hmm. So that's like it's like a plugin for Gmail or.
It's not a plugin. It's a separate app. But yeah, it connects with the Gmail. So.
Okay. Cool. I've never heard of it. So thank you
Yeah.
for that tip. I'm
It's
gonna
really
check it
good.
out. What is your one favorite book? Like if you could only bring one book to Mars, what book would that be?
There's two, but I'll just bring one. I'm gonna have to say it's The War of Art by Stephen
Okay.
Pressfield.
Right.
I think
I
it's
have it
just
somewhere here.
it's a short read. I think it's really impactful. I think it's one of those books that if you're like feeling like you're in a funk or feeling like things aren't working for you or you just need like that hit of inspiration, you can just devour that book in a day and get inspired again. I love that book.
Okay. I actually somebody else mentioned that book to me last week, which
Oh,
is kind of
really?
like, Erlend, listen to this book. So I'm going to check that out. Well, I'm going to find it somewhere behind here. What entrepreneur really inspires you?
Oh, good question. All right. So I'm gonna have to go with the first female entrepreneur that I started following.
Okay.
And her name is Marie Forleo. You might have heard of her.
Yeah.
So when I was after my layoff, when I was actually going through this whole like I got to find something to do, she was the first person that I stumbled upon that I really connected with. And what I love about her is that she gave so much. Like her program wasn't even open at the time. I was on her blog. I was watching every single video and I was like, I got so much inspiration. I got so much knowledge just from watching her videos. And like in my head, I'm thinking like, oh my gosh, like she's just giving me so much. This is amazing. And, I started following, on her list and things. And when she opened her program, I like begged my husband. I was like, can we please put this on a credit card? I was like, I need this. I was like, I know that this is going to help me in my business. And so yeah, she definitely inspires me just and also like the business that she has right now. Like I desire to have that type of business where I am not doing one-on-one and I just have, one major program. Maybe it's my membership site
Right.
where like that's it, like that's my thing. And I'm not out here like doing all this other stuff. And I have one big launch and I make tons of money and, I'm good to go. So the business model, I like what she's doing. So.
Cool. Where do you want to be in 3 years' time? What's your 3 year vision? The reason I'm asking you 3 years is you already mentioned your year goal.
Yeah.
No, but like I find 3 years is better for looking because you can accomplish a lot in 3 years, but like 1 year is always quite short.
Yeah.
It's already
no.
February. It's already nearly March.
March.
So.
Yeah. definitely, like I mentioned, just really having more freedom in my business. Right now, I'm still doing a lot of one-on-one. I started, with a lot of the one-on-one consulting. So scaling that back, possibly not even doing it at all, and really just reaching the masses by doing more teaching. So I like actually doing the classes and showing people how to do things, doing more like live events, doing more speaking, possibly finishing my book. So yeah, just being able to reach more people, without like doing a lot of the one-on-one work.
Cool. And what is your book about? When is it coming out?
My book is about my journey. So I've played around with a couple different titles, so it's, but
do you want to commit to a deadline here live on the show? Or?
I don't think so. Yeah, it's really weird because I've been writing literally since I was 10 years old.
Okay.
I am a natural writer. I'm a born writer. I wrote in high school, I wrote over 300 poems. And there's something in me, I don't know what it is, I got to figure it out, that just is blocking me from completing the book. I have, I believe, I'm about 15 to 20,000 words into my book. And there's a block. So I got to figure out what that is so that I can get it out there and get it done.
Well, maybe you need to send it to like a copywriter that just reads it and structures it for you and kind of says like, don't use, this is not necessary, this doesn't make sense. Like, maybe that could help you in the process.
Yeah, it could. Yeah, I think there's definitely a lot of that perfectionism in me. That is like, I'm editing along the way. I'm like, oh no, this isn't perfect. Instead of me just writing it and then sending it off. So yeah, that could be it.
Well, I guess the good thing with like Amazon now and if you're self-publishing is like, you could publish it and then you could like republish it within 24 hours. Yeah. Like there's different content out there, and so it's, and on Kindle. Well, actually on Kindle, the first time you download a book, that's what you're going to download in the future as well. So that's the copy you purchased. So even if it's updated, it doesn't update on the Kindle, which I find a little bit weird. But a book that I really enjoyed in terms of format was Total Recall by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because he's actually put in a lot of pictures with audio, and he also has like a video in there. Plus he has like links to like other content. So he's kind of made an interactive book rather than just like a static book, which I thought was really cool. And the book's really good too.
Yeah, I like that.
So where can we get more information about you? If you've been watching this and you're like, okay, I want to work with Jenn, like where can we go?
Super easy. I make it easy for everybody. JennScalia.com is my website. And I'm Jenn Scalia everywhere. So whether you're on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, just Jenn Scalia. I guess not many people have my name. So I was able to snag up all those URLs. But I do have a gift for your listeners or your watchers at JennScalia.com/MBA.
That is awesome. So guys, go to JennScalia.com/MBA for your free bonus. And if you enjoyed watching this video or listening to it on Stitcher or on iTunes, please write a review. It helps us reach a larger audience. And if you're watching on YouTube and you liked it, you can press like. And if you didn't, you can press unlike, because that gives us feedback as well. Hopefully you liked it. And comments are always welcome. Jenn, thank you so much for being on the show.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by MrOutsourced.com. Outsourcing to the Philippines done for you. Mr. Outsource is a recruitment company matching busy entrepreneurs with Filipino virtual assistants, so you can have the time to focus on what's important.